Hey everyone, and welcome to this Forge College Explainer. We're jumping straight in today to draft the architectural blueprints for composing complex smart contract workflows. If you've been hanging out in our Advanced Solidity projects track, you know we've been tackling composability piece by piece. Well, today is the day we actually bring it all together. We're moving way beyond isolated components and figuring out how to synthesize everything into an end-to-end, totally orchestrated symphony. We're going to build a system where multiple contracts don't just, talk to each other, but they actually operate as a single, coherent unit with absolutely flawless execution.
So, to understand where we're going, we kind of need to remember where we've been. Think back to our last chat on interoperability strategies. Managing just one adapter? That was a breeze, right? We had a dedicated contract normalizing inputs between a single caller and a target. It was a nice, safe, one-to-one connection that acted like a shield. But what happens when you scale that up? I'll tell you, wrangling multiple independent contracts at the exact same time is literally like herding cats in a minefield. Suddenly you're juggling multiple adapters, different module versions, totally unpredictable states. It's no longer simple. It's one-to-many orchestrated chaos.
So here's the schematic we're working through today. 1. The contract orchestration problem. 2. Meet your orchestrator. 3. The 3 core modules. 4. The execution workflow. 5. Testing workflow consistency. And finally 6. The 3 golden rules.
Section 1. The contract orchestration problem. Multi-contract chaos.
Let's look at what actually happens when multiple independent contracts try to play their own tune at the exact same time without a conductor. Honestly, it's a recipe for disaster, especially in Web 3, where mistakes are immutable and, frankly, incredibly expensive. When you're composing multiple adapters and modules, you aren't just passing messages back and forth anymore. You absolutely must ensure strict execution ordering, like contract A has to finish before contract B even thinks about starting. You have to maintain transactional data consistency across those boundaries, meaning your state updates need to be perfectly synchronized. And maybe most importantly, you need crystal clear failure semantics, so you don't end up with half your system updated and the other half completely broken.
Section 2. Meet your orchestrator, the symphony conductor.
To fix all this chaos and prevent those catastrophic partial updates, we need a strict, uncompromising conductor. Enter the orchestrator contract. The orchestrator steps right in to coordinate state changes across all those disparate modules we just talked about. It treats your entire composed system as one single coherent unit. And here's the kicker. It doesn't hold the core logic itself. Instead, it enforces the rules. It explicitly checks module versions at runtime to prevent any silent mismatches, it enforces the exact order of execution, and it does the heavy lifting of state reconciliation if something actually goes sideways.
Section 3. The 3 core modules, the chaotic musicians.
Now let's examine the 3 intentionally simple but slightly chaotic musicians our conductor needs to manage. We're keeping them simple for this project so we can really focus on the orchestration itself. First up, the storage module. It manages a small state mapping, but crucially, it implements a snapshot and restore function. This is a real game changer because it allows us to simulate local compensation and rollbacks. Second, the logic module. This guy reads from storage, computes a new value, and performs a staged update rather than committing it directly. And finally, the adapter module. This is our normalization layer, translating external inputs into the exact shape the logic module expects. By separating state, logic, and normalization into versioned modules, we drastically reduce tight coupling.
Section 4. The execution workflow, defensive sequence.
Okay, with our musicians in place, let's trace how the orchestrator actually conducts a transaction from start to finish. The magic here is the defensive sequence. Before any permanent changes are finalized, the orchestrator checks version compatibility. Then, step 1, it calls the storage module to take a state snapshot, which gives us an opaque identifier of the saved state. Step 2, it calls the adapter module to normalize the inputs. Step 3, it runs the logic module to create that staged update. And only, absolutely only, if all those subcalls execute flawlessly, does the orchestrator move to step 4 and explicitly commit the final changes.
But let's be real for a second. Smart contracts don't always behave. What happens during a test if our logic module trips over its own shoelaces and fails mid-performance? What if it just reverts after the adapter has already run?
Well, in a totally unorchestrated system, a mid-flight failure leaves your storage in a partially updated, broken state. Literally a developer's absolute worst nightmare.
But in our orchestrated system, the orchestrator intercepts that failure. It catches the revert from the subcall and immediately invokes the restore function on the storage module using that exact snapshot identifier we saved back in step 1. It rolls everything back locally and surfaces a crystal clear revert reason. No implicit state leaks, no corrupted data. The whole shebang is kept perfectly clean.
Section 5. Testing workflow consistency. Rigorous local checks.
Of course, we cannot just trust that this symphony sounds good in theory, right? We need rigorous local evidence that state transitions behave correctly on both the happy paths and the failure paths. So for this project milestone, your code has to pass some very specific acceptance criteria. It needs to compile cleanly. Your integration tests must prove that state updates are 100% consistent across modules. You have to document your interoperability strategies. The orchestrator must actively enforce version dependency management, rejecting mismatches during tests, and naturally, your local integration scenarios must succeed with a clean exit code. To build these tests quickly, I highly recommend leaning on AI-assisted scaffolding. You can prompt an assistant to generate a Foundry integration test that deploys these modules and runs 2 key scenarios. First, a commit succeeds scenario. This validates a perfectly executed sequence where the final storage values match your expected numbers. Second, a compensates on failure scenario. This simulates a revert in the logic module to validate that beautifully orchestrated rollback, proving the state perfectly matches the pre-run snapshot.
Now, for maximum traceability, because we all know good engineering is traceable engineering, you're going to document your interoperability choices in a verifiable markdown checklist. You'll set up an integration checklist.md file, recording whether you used an adapter, a direct call, or an event-based sync for each cross-contract boundary. You'll also log the exact passing test commands and outputs. This links every single acceptance criterion to a reproducible verification step, making your design choices totally transparent.
Section 6. The 3 Golden Rules. Rules of Composability.
Before we wrap up this architectural blueprint and send you off to start building, let's cement the 3 golden rules of composability. These will keep your systems robust. Rule 1. Manage dependencies explicitly. Always check module versions at runtime to avoid silent catastrophic failures. Rule 2. Make data consistency visible. By using snapshot, restore, and explicit staged commits, your tests can effortlessly assert invariants. And Rule 3. Document your interoperability choices. Every single cross-contract boundary should have an explicit strategy. If you follow these 3 rules, your smart contracts will never play out of tune.
Nailing these orchestrated integration techniques perfectly tees you up for our next lesson. Soon, we'll be exploring how to scale this logic across much broader architectural patterns, really evaluating the trade-offs between strict orchestration and module autonomy. You're learning how to build not just functional contracts, but highly resilient, professional-grade Web3 systems.
This explainer was created by Forge College. Please visit forge.college to continue your Web3 education. Dive into the next modules and truly master the art of smart contract composability. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought as you jump into the code. In your next decentralized application, are your contracts acting as a perfectly coordinated symphony? Or are they really just making a bunch of noise? Thanks so much for watching, and happy coding.